they're relentless. And I guess that's it. I would say be consistent. So do something every single day that gets you better. Doesn't always have to be physical. It could be mental. You could watch film on your sport. You could listen to, players that have already done it, coaches that are at a high level in your sport and learn, right? So do something every day to learn and get better, and then be relentless.
Welcome. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Biznct TV. We're on episode 31. You know, I always bring the special guests out. Today, I got Tim Sada with Tim Sada Training.
What's going on? Hello, everybody.
Man, I'm glad I got you on here, man. You're definitely a beacon out here in the community. You're really pouring into these kids' lives. I like what you stand for. So I definitely had to get you on the show.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate, the kind words. I feel the same way about you. And that's why I'm here. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So, Tim, tell people a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so originally from South Florida, been in high-level competitive sports, baseball, football, and basketball since I was a real little kid. I got two older brothers, so that made it even more competitive. And then moved to Ocala when I was in middle school, continued to play all three sports, and then fell in love with basketball. Basketball was my favorite, and I stuck with that. Graduated from Trinity back in 2013. I was an all-state player in Florida. Then went on and played college ball at St. Thomas University for 4 years, graduated there, and then played a little bit overseas before COVID. Then once that happened, I was in my rookie season as a pro. And since then, I've been back. And ever since I've been back in Ocala from overseas, I started Tim Sada Training, where I've been training and developing kids in the area that want to learn the fundamentals, shooting, ball handling, defense, footwork, basketball IQ, all the basic fundamentals to give them the building blocks to continue to grow their game. And that's just within basketball. But the more important part of what I do is teaching them the principles of consistency and work ethic and performance. Those are big things that sometimes get missed in youth sports. And I want to teach kids that because that'll carry on forever. It doesn't matter if they get a chance to play college ball or pro ball. They could take that into life, into business or into work or with family relationships. So that's really the main reason I do it. And then basketball is like the cherry on top, the secondary, like, man, I get to actually do what I love too. Absolutely.
When it comes to like mindset's so important to competitive sports. I played collegiate football, I played high school as well. What are some of the things you instill in these young men? Because a lot of people don't know what it really takes to become a collegiate athlete, let alone a professional athlete, because there's some dogs out there and they're trying to get it. So what are some things you really instill in those kids to make them see the bigger picture on what it takes to make it to the next level?
Well, one, you have to be hungry. I mean, how bad do you want it? People say, like, do you want it more than you can breathe? And that's a big analogy a lot of people use in the sports world, and it's very true because, yes, don't get me wrong, you have to have talent and be athletic, and, there's some natural God-given ability that goes into any athlete in any sport, 100%. But I've seen plenty of people that have had all of that, but they didn't really have the desire, the work ethic, the, consistency. I say consistency. That's probably one of the biggest ones. And then they fall flat. And then I've seen the opposite. I've seen people that, they may not have been as talented. They may not be the fastest, the strongest, jump the highest and be super athletic, but they work so hard and they develop their skills that they're relentless. And I guess that's it. I would say be consistent. So do something every single day that gets you better. Doesn't always have to be physical. It could be mental. You could watch film on your sport. You could listen to, players that have already done it, coaches that are at a high level in your sport and learn, right? So do something every day to learn and get better, and then be relentless. Just because you have a bad game or you even have a bad stretch of games, a little bit of a slump, don't go into the pitfall. Just bounce back, keep working hard, keep showing up. Just keep showing up and be relentless. So consistency and being relentless. That's what I would say.
Man, Tim, like I've seen you in like different scenarios and I really like bonded with you because I know I'm built different. But when I saw you like overcome different adversity and persevere and then succeed in like whatever you set out to do, like if you're a part of a team, if you're working for an organization, you're not just a run of the mill. You're not trying to be average. You want to rise to the top. You want to make sure you do your best. And I saw that come out, in various aspects of your life. When you see like different kids that need that extra push, they have that talent within them. What are some of the things that you tell them they should focus on? Because it's the little things that make the big things. And I think that's what really sets you apart from like other training companies out here, because you really double down on the fundamentals. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to pay attention to details. That's one thing my dad, it echoes in my head to this day. That's one thing my dad instilled in me, for a long time, sorry. And, it is a big part of it, especially in basketball. If you can do the fundamentals properly, the proper footwork's a big one, right?
Right.
Look at Kobe, right? Why does everybody love Kobe? Why does everybody, use the Mamba mentality and watch film and study the little habits? Like it could be a half-inch difference of one finger or thumb on why you make or miss a shot. Mm-hmm. And I look at that kind of stuff, right? Like when I'm training a kid, I'll tell them, I'll be like, hey, your wrist needs to snap back a little bit and get a little bit more under the ball so you can shoot it high and soft and get arc instead of behind the ball when you're shooting it straight at the hoop and it's like a line drive and it's probably not going to go in, right? Or a very low percentage. Right. So for sure, I definitely would say the details matter, but you have to observe those details, measure those details, and then fix them. And it's a simple process, but a lot of people skip that part. You kind of get caught up in the other nuances of the game, the highlight plays and all that. And don't get me wrong, I love them too. Right. Like I want to see the dunks and the alley-oops and the deep threes and the crossovers, all that stuff. Everybody loves that, right? I do too. But if you really want to get your game to the next level where you can have the chance to play college ball or pro ball, you better have your skills at an all-time high, because nowadays there's people all over the world that are doing it now. It's evident, right? I still think, the U.S., we still have the best basketball players overall. But the world is competing now too. So there's people everywhere that are working hard, right? And that's in anything, not just in basketball. Like anywhere in business is competitive, as you know, yes. Right? So if you're not doing things every day to get better and other people are over the course of time, somebody's going to win and somebody's not.
Yeah. And I like to win.
Me too. And in life, sometimes you don't win like in every aspect. So like even Floyd Mayweather, like as an amateur, took, some L's and he learned from those L's. And I definitely believe you could build upon a failure and that could lead to many, many, many successes if you really focus and double down. Man, overseas, how was that experience going and playing pro? It was great. It was so short-lived because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And then after COVID, there was another series of events, you know? So while I was there, it was amazing. It was awesome. Like, I'll never forget, my first home game, crowds going crazy. And overseas basketball, the fans are a lot more like crazy soccer fans than it is the NBA. Oh, wow. You go to an NBA game now, number one, the tickets are crazy expensive, and people are there. They definitely enjoy their time. It's not like it's a bad time. It's a good time, but they're not really going crazy. They're kind of hanging out. They're on their phone. They're eating food, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's more of like almost like a luxury experience nowadays.
Right.
You go to a basketball game overseas. I don't care if it's in the Middle East, Europe, places in South America, other spots in the world. These fans are nuts. I mean, they're going crazy the whole game. They're chanting. They got a bass drum. Like my team, they had a big bass drum right at half court, like up in the stands, but at the half court mark, and they're banging that thing the whole game. So it's almost like like I said, a soccer, like a World Cup feeling type. So it was a lot of fun, man, playing in that. Plus, I'll never forget my first payday, because in my contract, I actually was getting paid in US dollars in cash.
Oh, wow.
And that was a little different, right? Because I've never had any experience like that. And obviously it was in my contract, so I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was kind of crazy the first time it happened, and you don't believe it till you see it, right? Like, and Yeah, it was crazy. So I go into the GM's office after practice. He's like, Tim, come over here. Opens up a cabinet, key, whatever. And then, he takes out a bag, unzips the bag, and then pays me my monthly pay in cash, all $100 US dollars. Like, so it was just kind of crazy. I was like, man, wow. I'm really getting paid. Cause we all love sports. We'll do it for free. I go play right now. But when you're getting paid to do it, it's just a different level of like self-actualization. Like you feel like you really hit the top of the pyramid now. So you're like, man, I'm getting paid to do what I really, really love. So it was a cool moment. And then back to, and this is where it's been tough the last couple of years is like, obviously I want to continue to play. But again, so you had COVID right in the middle of my rookie season. So that threw a wrench into everything. Then there was an explosion in Beirut about 10 minutes from where I lived. Oh, wow. And it was a negligent deal where a warehouse blew up because there was things there that shouldn't have been, sadly. And then after that, now you've had this craziness going on in the Middle East. So I've had a few opportunities to go back over the last 2.5 years, but I've turned them all down because safety and then money. And then plus I've started doing Tim Sada Training, but also I do Marion Heat, which is my travel ball team. So I have my AAU team. So I have, a lot of kids that I'm coaching and mentoring and looking after. So now I'm at a point where it's like, is it what I really want to do to go back all the way on the other side of the world by myself, or stay home in the community and keep trying to give back as much as I can?
Build up the next generation.
Exactly.
Man, like, I done stepped out there a couple of times and trained with you, and man, I know you talking to people, because a lot of people talk about how they did this and did that when they were playing in sports. And I know you have the all-time record for 3-points at your university. And to see you playing like pickup, it was like automatic. Like when you see somebody just step up and shoot almost for half court and then at a high efficiency, it's pretty cool to see in person.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And that goes with the training. And this is what I tell all my kids is like, they see me now and they think, oh man, you just woke up one day and started shooting these deep threes and consistently shooting threes. It's like, and as you mentioned, I'm the all-time 3-point shooter in my school. Well, that didn't just happen overnight. I worked really hard at that, man. I was in my parents' driveway, on an old raggedy hoop since 6th, 7th grade, 12, 13, 14 years old, all the way up to through high school, through college. And I was out there 2, 3, 4 times a day. And then in the summertime, when there was no school, it may have been more than that, and then one constant theme that a lot of coaches, and I know they'll all agree with me, the kids now don't really play as much. Mm-hmm. They'll watch, on YouTube, or they'll watch highlights, and they'll do some drills. They'll practice the drills, which is good. I like that. But they don't play. Like, you need to take those drills and then go do them.
Right.
And that was the big thing too. I played a ton, especially again over the summer. I mean, I was playing 2-3 times a day and training so it's just like anything else. When you work that hard and you compound everything, then eventually over time, you have to get better. And matter of fact, it's impossible for you not to get better if you're working that hard at something. And again, that's one of those principles, right? That's the consistency of what I talked about and what I'm trying to teach now.
When a parent brings a kid to you, what are 3 core things that you focus on in their development?
Well, if we're talking strictly basketball, my big thing is, and depending on the age, right, and their skill level, I have different tiers, right? So we have like a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So it may fluctuate, but the constants between the 3 are, ball handling is big, right? I spent a lot of time ball handling. It made a difference for me, big time, because when I was always known as a shooter, right? Everybody knows that. But once I got towards the end of high school and then into college, my ball handling tremendously improved, which made me a much better player. And it helped me get my shot off more to then break those 3-point records, right? Because if I could literally just sit there and only shoot, you're not going to be so effective. You're not going to hit a lot of shots, especially in the college level. Youth basketball, what I see is, and this goes everywhere, the kids that can handle the ball, especially against pressure, against defense, those are the kids that are going to play.
Right.
And if you're playing more, you're going to continue to develop and get better. So I'd say ball handling, now defensive too, right? And not just one-on-one defense, like also team defense, basketball IQ, help and recover, how to rotate, how to close out properly, hands up, how to contest without fouling. That's a big one. So I'd say ball handling, defense, and then if I have a third one, of course, shooting, right? Because that's how I made my name. And nowadays, people are shooting more threes than ever. I like it to a certain extent. Sometimes it gets too much, and there's people that aren't good shooters that shouldn't be shooting. And that's what a lot of people are talking about right now, especially in the NBA. But at the end of the day, no matter how you slice it, you got to be able to shoot threes to be a winning team. So yeah, I say ball handling, defense, and shooting. Those are the three.
Absolutely. Deeper than just sports. Now you're stepping into being athletic and being a business person as well. So you do have some special grooming to be able to handle both. What are some similarities that you've seen, like, between the two, like being on the business side and then being a professional and seeing the business side, and being a business owner and seeing the business side of athletics, and how a business owner could take some tips that you've learned that is working well for yourself, and they can implement it in their business?
That's really good. I like that. And there are a lot of parallels that I see, right? One, we'll hit on it again, right? Consistency. So, but the way I relate that to business though, yes, you have to be consistent in what you're doing as a business owner, just like an athlete. But the way I look at it is, if basically do what you say you're going to do consistently. So when you tell parents and kids, hey, we're going to work on this, we're going to develop you this, that, don't just tell them that. Go do it every time. Right. Because not only is that how you truly develop the kid and make them better anyways, but that's customer service. So if you want to relate it to business, it should be all about them and pouring into them. And the way I relate that back to being an athlete is, when you're an athlete, especially at the pro level, but even college too, you're inspiring the kids. Think about it. I mean, you play football. Think about all the little kids that are in the stands watching you run the ball. They're like, man, I want to be like Woodley one day. So how I can put that back in the business is, if I'm doing what I say I'm going to do, and that light bulb clicks in their head, and they're like, man, I really can get better if I put in a lot of work and do it every day all the time, then all of a sudden they're inspired to play.
Right.
So that's how I think it kind of parallels or intertwines, however you want to explain it. So I would say, yeah, teaching them the consistency along with inspiring them to play. Right. That's the big thing.
And a big thing that you hit on earlier in this conversation was, they got to want it. Nobody's going to want it more than you, whether you're in athletics or business. Nobody's going to just want to give you thousands and thousands of dollars just because. And just like in sports, you want to make it to the NBA, NFL, whatever. So you just want, it's a business. You want a multi-billionaire to just give you millions and millions of dollars just because you want to be there. No, you have to be an asset. You have to be valuable. You have to be able to bring something to the table that benefits them. You play well, they pay well. And if they pay well, you're able to provide for your family and so on and so forth. Man, tell the people at home where they can find you online, on social media.
Yeah. So my website is timsadatraining.com. So you can go to the website, and then I have pretty much all social media, Instagram, X, Facebook, all Tim Sada Training, at Tim Sada Training. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then, be on the lookout tomorrow. The song drops.
Yeah, man. You about to be, Jello dropped the swerve and
Yeah, I
want to see what you got.
I think you, especially being a business owner in a competitive environment and a former athlete, I think anybody that's in a business setting or an athletic setting will like this song coming out. It's called No Competition. Okay. It comes out tomorrow, on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, everywhere. Like, I even think the guy that helped me produce it, I think he even put it on like Roblox and stuff too. I don't know why, but hey, it's there.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Let's see what we can do with it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
For sure. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode. Catch you later. Take care.